What's up, everybody? My name's Jose. This is my YouTube channel. It's going to be called Pokemon TCG. And the reason behind that name is my Instagram name is Brosif. I just try to run with the idea, just keep it going. Also, it has broke in there, brokey, whatever. That sort of ties into the whole game of collecting Pokemon cards. A lot of people think you got to spend a lot of money. You could be a little brokey, a little broke, and still have fun with the hobby. The whole goal of this whole channel is to show you guys how you can collect on a budget. I'm a big collector. I'm not in it for keeping it sealed. A lot of people like to keep the Pokemon Center stuff sealed. I open it if I get my hands on it. One of my buddies usually is on a Discord and always lets me know when something's releasing. So big shout out to him. I also it's a family thing. I take my wife, my children, which I have 3 daughters and 1 son. I take them to card shows. Last year we went to the Pasadena Front Row Card Show, which was our first show ever, mine and the family's. And then this year we went again, and surprisingly, with a couple $100, I think I spent around $200. We had a lot of fun. So that's what I want to focus and show you guys how you can collect on a budget and still have fun with it. You don't necessarily have to be in it to make big money. A lot of people, they're in that game, which is fine. If they like that, I'm more in it, nostalgia, collecting cards that I couldn't as a kid. Just many reasons, couldn't parents probably couldn't afford it, or just focus on other things. I was focused a lot on sports and stuff. But now that I'm a grown up, I have grown up money. I could collect what I like, and the way I collect is probably different from other people. Some people like collecting master sets. I like doing Pokédex binders, and I don't just only focus on Pokemon. I like to focus on Yu-Gi-Oh, Dragon Ball, and Pokemon. A lot of different things, but my main focus is Pokemon. And I have a Gen 1 binder, which is the Kanto region, and it's a mix of different sets all in one. I have the Johto binder, Gen 2, all same thing, and I'm currently on Gen 3. I also have this right over here, which is my PC binder. Kind of stole the idea a little bit from Jar Chomp Collectibles. Got to meet him at this year's Front Row Card Show, which is pretty cool. He signed one of my 25th anniversary Garchomp cards that released in Japan, not the ones from the US. Pretty sweet card. I have it saved in my little box. I'll show you guys that card pretty soon. And yeah, so this binder right here, the purple one that you guys just saw, that one, pretty much each of my favorite Pokemon from each gen has its own page dedicated to that Pokemon. And in this one right here, I have Gen 1 and Gen 2. So I'm going to show you my personal collection, my PC binder, my trade binder, which has a couple sweet cards in there, my Dragon Ball little binder. I don't have much of it, but I'm getting started on that. My Gen 3 binder, my Gen 2 binder, and my Gen 1 binder. And each binder is has its own meaning behind the color. So green being one of my favorites of Gen 1, Venusaur, for the starter. Gen 2 is blue. You can guess who? Totodile, Crocodile, and Feraligatr. One of my favorite, all three stages, beautiful. Same goes for Gen 3. Sceptile, Trico, Grovyle, and Sceptile. And Gen 3 really has a lot of grass Pokemon, and I mean, my favorite color is green. A lot of green Pokemon that are pretty sweet looking, and probably one of my most, my favorite, one of my more nostalgic binders, because when Ruby and Sapphire came out, my parents had just got me a Game Boy Advance. And it was the first Pokemon game that my parents ever bought me, which I'm very grateful. I believe I got um, Sapphire, and my little sister got Ruby. And I remember playing and competing a little bit, but yeah. So I just want you guys to understand the hobby and how you don't really need to break the bank to keep collecting. So let's get into it. All right, guys, we're going to start off with the DBZ binder just to get out of the way and show you guys how there's different types of cards that you can collect. So this is my collection right here. One of my favorite characters is Gohan. Literally all stages: Kid Gohan, Teen Gohan, Beast Gohan. So as you can see on the front page, I have these two, one of my favorite cards right there. I have the Frieza and Goku in Japanese. Got that in San Diego at this little store when we were visiting my sister-in-law. I also believe I pulled the Master Roshi at that same store. And this binder, the ones I really like to collect from the Saiyan Saga. You got Kaioken Goku. You got from Vegeta from the Saiyan Saga. You also have Super Saiyan 3 Gogeta and Baby Vegeta from GT. Another GT card. The androids, because the androids are part of my favorite saga, the Cell Saga, where we got to see Teen Gohan go unlock Super Saiyan 2 for the first time. And I got Piccolo over here. And then, surprisingly enough, I found this not that long ago in one of the DVD cases that I had as a kid. So that's it for the DBZ binder. And let's go into my trade binder, which this one is a little different. My kids just rated it, so you can see I got a restock on this. So it just has some cards that I think some people might like. Like I said, my kids rated this this binder a couple of days ago, but I'll restock pretty soon. Some of these are pretty cool. I believe on this page I have some cards that are from Brazil. My friend got these, and these are all in Portuguese. These top right here. This is an illustration contest that I got from my local store, and I got a Korean. I collect everything from Japanese, English, Korean, Chinese. I like to collect different languages, so pretty simple binder. And I want to hop into my Gen 1 binder. Gen 1 was the first binder I completed, and I actually completed it at my first front row card show in Pasadena. And I had a couple people sign the binder for me, the card that they liked or the starter that they liked from this generation. So as you can see, I have a couple signatures. I don't have too many because I had them only sign one card. But for the most part, I got these from completed this over there, along with some that my friends gave me, my local card store and stuff like that. As you can see, from different generations, I got Japanese. Some of these cards, as you can see, they might be bulk, but it's art that I like. You don't necessarily have to get too fancy with this, but Nidoking being one of my favorites, I like to keep the same card from the same set. As you can see, I have different types of cards. You can see the hollow patterns from Japan. I personally think Japanese cards have better quality. Not many people like them because of the value, but to me, personally, I think they're a lot better. And as you can, like I told you guys, I'm big on Japanese, but also all sorts of cards. Even this one right here, which I believe is from the Detective Pikachu set. I think it's a pretty sweet Jigglypuff card. And as we continue, you can see the variations of each card. It comes from different sets. These, I just wanted to keep it with the same thing with his Sway Growlithe and Arcanine. Just keep it a little spicy. I got this one right, pretty sweet. Not many people liked it because it was Korean, but to me, this is one of the best cards released for Poliwhirl, and I couldn't pass up the opportunity. I got this pretty cheap, couple bucks actually, when the English version goes for a lot more. And like I said, I like to collect on a budget, And a lot of these cards I've had from when I was a kid, buddies, bulk, or at the card show. And this is one of my favorites in this binder actually. Um, the Imikuni's Do Duo, which this card actually released in 2016. I just think is a pretty cool card. You don't see many of these nowadays. And as we continue, you can see reverse hollows. A lot of people skip on reverse hollows, but you know what? Some of these have pretty sweet patterns, and you can't pass up on those just because they don't have any value in them. This was the first card I got signed at my local card show at Funhouse 51 here in Lancaster. The owner, Davis, signed it for me. Pretty funny story on this one right here, actually. His favorite Pokemon is Gengar. And I asked him if he has any Gengar cards. So what did he do? He popped up some cards that he was going to give out to trick-or-treaters. The first pack I opened had the Holo Gengar, and he signed it for me. So I thought that was a pretty sweet memory, pretty cool how things work out sometimes. And as you can see, some of these are older cards, not in the greatest condition, but nonetheless, I still think they're pretty cool cards. And we're getting a little bit closer to the end. But as you can see, most of this is Japanese because at card shows, sometimes people don't like to collect Japanese and they just have them in the bulk or like $1 binders. And like I said, most of these cards don't even cost that much. This whole binder I actually got for, I'm going to say I probably spent like $80 in this whole binder. And some of these cards now are worth, a lot more. The funny thing is Kabuto and Omanai, Omastar, all these Pokemon, they're going up in value. And I valued each card on collector according to the condition. And this binder, surprisingly, is now worth like $380, which I'm not selling this, but it's just letting you guys know if you do get into it, like how I did. I'm a budget collector, and sometimes these cards can go up. People don't appreciate them at the time, but throughout time, they gain the value. And obviously, this is one of my favorite pages of all time, in this whole binder, simply for the reason being the variety that there is here, from different sets, different languages, and, remakes of certain cards and stuff like that. And then here we're at the end. Honestly, I don't even know how I got this Mew promo, but somehow I kept it from when I was a kid. But honestly, don't even know how I got this, because when I went to go see the movie, the first Pokemon movie, I got the Ancient Mew card. And just so you guys see, I'm very meticulous on how I keep things organized. And I have a checklist of the cards that I have, and I still need. So I like to, keep a list, the first 151 here. And I also saved the tickets from my first card show with my family. And it's something I cherish because it's something I could do with my family and my daughters enjoy it. And some of these videos coming up, you guys will see videos of me collecting and going to stores with my daughters. So they also have a pretty sweet collection, if I could say so myself. And then here is my Gen 2 binder. Gen 2, honestly, solid. Not that many Pokemon, but so many solid Pokemon came out of this generation. Very nostalgic. For the simple reason, because of the anime, some of these cards were pretty hard to find, but nonetheless, I was able to get it done. A lot of these came from friends, trading from friends, bulk, and stuff like that. I actually found the whole Totodile, Croconaut, and for Alligator, the whole line in a bulk box at my local card store. And honestly, these are pretty sweet to me. I don't know why people pass up on cards like this. Noctowl was another one of my favorite Pokemon. Regional birds. This is by far my favorite, along with Pidgeot. As you can see, different cards, older set from when I was a kid. You can see all the the dirt, grime, or whatever it is. And actually, funny enough, I pulled this in a pack I opened up at my local store. And this card I actually got from my tattoo artist. He hooked me up, He gave it to me knowing that I was trying to complete the binder. Like I said, a lot of these cards came from my friend, the same one that notifies me about the releases on Pokemon Center. He gave me a lot of Gen 2. Most of this came from him, his personal collection as well. The only one that I believe I bought off of TCG Player was this card right here. Nearly impossible to find Politoed in stores. You know, it was one of those where I had to make the call and just buy it online. But nonetheless, you know, a lot of great art on these cards. And then this one is signed from my buddy, the one I just spoke of right now. His name is Alex. I work with him at UPS, and he signed this card. I guess this is his favorite from Gen 2. And he gave me, I kid you not, maybe 50 or 60 of these cards. And there's only about like 100 Pokemon in this generation. And like I said, a lot of people pass up on the Radiant cards. This Radiant Steelix, I mean, come on. Like, it's such a sick card. And $1, guys, $1. So you don't have to break the bank to necessarily get some cool cards. And like I said, you know, I found this one for $2. You know, it's one of those where many people don't go for the out of the ordinary like this. A second place from the Pokemon League, a Delibird. I believe this was given to the second place winner at a Pokemon tournament. And, you know, come on, look at that, those hollow patterns. Pretty sweet, you know. My goal is to get a couple of these signs. Shout out to Deep Pocket Monsters. I want him to sign my Houndoom. Not just my Houndoom. I want him to sign my Milk Tank, you know. If you guys watch his videos, you'll know why. As a kid, I never really was able to catch a legendary dogs in the games. So I was happy I was able to find some cards for the legendary dogs. And here's the final page. The legendaries: Entei, Suicune, Larvitar, Pupitar, Tyranitar, Lugia, Ho, and Celebi. This I actually kept from when I was a kid. Quite honestly, I don't even know how I got this card. I believe this card came from a trade in the playground at school. And same as the other one. Well, I guess not same as the other one. I have no idea where my list went. I usually keep all my lists here. I believe probably my kids took it. But nonetheless, I try to keep stuff organized. I'm a big stickler on keeping things organized. And this is my Gen 3. Of all the Pokédex ones, this is probably my most sentimental one. Shout out to Voltex. And then, like I said, probably my favorite and most nostalgic one, my favorite starter of all time, from the older generations would be Trico, you know, Grovyle and Sceptile. But doesn't mean I don't like the other starters. You know, the other starters are heavy hitters, and I mean heavy hitters. And this binder also, most of it was from my my friend, my coworker. I got a lot of cards from him, especially like this Puchiena. I was able to find on his personal collection, the Mighty Iena, the Zigzagoon. Literally almost the whole binder I found from his personal collection. This one I did spend a little bit more. I wanted to give him what the cards were worth. So far into this binder, I'm about $60 in. And I'm probably 3/4 into the collection. But like I said, this is one of those where I might be willing to spend a little bit more on these cards just for the nostalgia and the reason, just the fact that I really like this generation. As you can see, I'm still working on it. Some pages might be fully empty. Another one of my favorites, Shiftry. Come on, guys. This has to be one of the best cards released for this Pokemon. I mean, it's insane. That could be a poster or a movie poster or something, you know. I also like, if I can find stamp cards, you know, that's pretty sweet. I like that. The whole e-reader series is pretty sweet. You know, a lot of people, you know, they like different Pokemon for certain reasons. For some reason, I like grass Pokemon, and so most of the grass Pokemon got a little bit of love on this binder. And like I said, You know, a lot of the older stuff is what I like to collect, but also some modern stuff. As you can see, I got these two from one of my buddies. It's actually connecting art. If you take out this card, which is pretty funny, I'll show you guys. It's a connecting art, and as you can see, it connects in that way. I don't know if you guys can see very well, but some of these are connecting arts. It would have been so cool if, you know, they were on top of each other, but you know, it's still one of those where, like, it's a pretty sweet card nonetheless. Let me move up this. I'm gonna move this up just a little bit so you guys have a better view of the binder, especially when we get to the other binder. There you go. The Mega Mall Wow. I actually found this for like about 50 cents at one of my local card stores. I've only been to two of my stores in town, but I'm always finding heat there, you know. This was at the local the front row card show this year. A couple bucks here. Like I said, promo cards, another one. Carvana. I mean, come on, how many people probably overlooked this card? I think it's pretty sweet with little cosmic hollow patterns on the side. I'm not sure if the camera could capture that, but pretty sweet promo. You don't see that often. At least I haven't. Some of these cards, like the empty slots, they're very hard to find. Another one of my favorites, Flygon. You'll see a little bit more about him later in my other binders. Cacnea, and I actually have a Cacturn card coming in. I was looking for this everywhere, and it turns out each one of my daughters had a Cacturn card. I just haven't put it in yet. And as you can see, there's more here. And then, for example, I was telling my buddy, this is probably like a 50-cent card, but come on, look at that core fish. So sweet. All the little core fish in the little bubble. I mean, there's other core fish, as you probably saw it on my trade binder, a reverse hollow one, but this is just, come on, it's sweet. Like I said, some of these older cards, a little bit of the newer cards. I do want to get another Tropius card. Like I said, one of my favorite Pokemon as well. Like all these grass Pokemon are just I don't know. Gen 3 has some solid grass Pokemon. The Bagon and the Shelgon, those are pretty hard to find. So I've been debating if I should go to TCG Player for those, along with the other Reggies. And as you can see with Kyogre and Groudon, I like, you know, sometimes if I could keep the same thing going, I'll do so. And then this is the last page. This Rayquaza was given to me also by my my tattoo artist, and he signed it for me. He likes the whole graffiti thing. I told him to sign the card, but he couldn't bring it to himself to sign the card for me, so he signed the sleeve, but, you know, still made the binder. And like I said, the Radiant cards are pretty sweet, and I might swap this Deoxys for a full art. But let me show you guys the list. This one's a little different. It has a picture of each Pokemon, and as you can see, I've crossed out a lot of these, but there's still a lot to go. You know, some of these are just a lot harder to find, like this Grumpig. I have no idea where I'm gonna find that. I'm trying to avoid TCG Player because a lot of these are bulk cards. The Chimecho is another one I haven't seen. Like I said earlier, the Bagon and the Shogun are another one I haven't seen anywhere. But you know what? It's all about the chase. You know, the people like to chase the hit from the packs. I like to chase the when I find a card. And funny enough, this business card is in here. I got this business card from WYC Sports Cards at Front Row Card Show. He actually goes to Japan once a month and gets a lot of vintage stuff, which you'll see in that purple binder right there. He gave me his contact information, so if I ever need anything, he told me that to just send him an email. And sorry about that, guys. My battery died when I was recording for my Gen 3 binder when I was telling you about the business card of the guy who goes to Japan and all that stuff. And it's a cool little connection. You know, connections like that's what make the hobby great. He'll help me collect some of the vintage stuff that I really love. But let's hop into my PC, my personal binder. This is the one where every Pokemon gets its own page, and these are some of my favorite Venusaur cards that I have collected thus far. One of my favorite Pokemon of all time, so I want to make this one special. I got a Topps card, not the Chrome, a regular Topps card, but I still love these cards. I also got a Topps for Blastoise, another one of my Gen 1 starters that I really like. Not a big fan of Charizard, but you know what? Venusaur and Blastoise, they got my love. And then we got, this one's not even, as you can see, it was folded a little weird. But this is my Pidgeot card, one of my favorite regional birds as well. And if you can see closely, the light lets me, this is in Portuguese. Got it from my buddy. I pulled in one of the packs that he brought over from Brazil. Another one of the anime favorites is Arbok. Bandai card has cards on the top, very vintage, one of the first couple cards to release for Arbok. So I really love this vintage stuff. I'm gonna hit up that guy to get me some more. We also got the Pikachu anime icon, you know. As you can see, I'm gonna have a couple of these McDonald's Happy Meal cards. Let me see if you can see the hollow pattern. It's pretty sick. But yeah, this is one of my daughter's favorites as well. Nidoking, another one of my favorites. As you can see on the cover of my picture of my profile, I have a picture with a Venusaur, Nidoking, Gyarados, and Noctowl, my 4 favorite of all time. Another, you know, this is a lot of variety on this one. Also, we got Jigglypuff over here, another one from the anime that I really love. This one's a Wigglytuff card, but you know what? There's some Jigglypuff in there, and I'm gonna add a little bit more to this one. I got a couple cards for my daughters, which is why my trade binder was rated. Meowth, another one from the anime that it's iconic Pokemon. Everybody knows who Meowth is, so there's nothing more to say about that one. Psyduck, another favorite. This isn't a Psyduck card, but there's a Psyduck in it, so I added it, you know, variety. I got a couple of those for my buddy as well. This is the only page that does not have a full page dedicated to one Pokemon. I want to do the whole evolutionary line. I want to do all E-readers on top, the fossil on the bottom, and full arts here at the bottom over here. We got Weezing, another Team Rocket Pokemon that I really like. A Bandai card right at the top. So as you can tell, I really like those. Rhydon. You know, Rhydon, iconic Pokemon because it's the statue in every Pokemon game. Actually, it was the first Pokemon that was coded into the games. I actually named my Ford Ranger Rhydon the Ranger. So, Pinsir. I got this one from my buddy, the tattoo artist. Don't have many of these. I have a couple of common cards that I'll probably put in here that I also got for my daughters. And Gyarados, another one of my favorites. As you can see, I have a couple that look the same, but you know, this one's in German, this is English, this is Japanese. The Dark Gyarados pre-release, and then this one is the only Gyarados that has its mouth closed in all of TCG. All the other cards, it has its mouth open. Eevee, I mean, do I really gotta say anything? Come on. These two promos right next to each other, pretty sick. One with the prismatic stamp as well. Then we have Snorlax. Let me see if I could get the glare out. So you can see it's the same card, but in different languages. This one's in Portuguese. Got a long ways to go with Snorlax. Articuno. I got these two cards from when I was a kid. Honestly, like I said, a lot of these cards, I don't remember how I got them, but I've kept a lot of them, along with the other two legendary birds like Moltres and Zapdos. Pulled this one recently, Korean on Destined Rivals. Pretty sick card. This one, I don't know where it came from or what set it's from, but pretty cool card. Is damaged, but you know what? I don't care. I really like that card. I had to have it in the binder. Another icon, Dragonite. You know, I would like to get a lot more vintage of Dragonite, some hollows. They have so many cool cards for Dragonite. Mewtwo as well. the promo right here from the first movie, the Warner Brothers one. Really love that card. Got a lot to add to this one. Not an easy one to obtain on a budget. Along with Mew as well. I like this card. It's actually a metal card. You can hear how hard it is. And I got this one from when I was a kid. I've been saving it all this time. This one's actually going up in value. It's probably like a dollar, and it's going up. Some of the cards I don't have any in here. I have them in the Pokédex, but I'm not going to remove them there to put them here. So Meganium's one of them. I only have one Typhlosion. I gotta get more of that one. For Alligator, it's probably gonna get some special love. You know, this is from the illustration contest from last year. Knocked out two of my favorite knocked out cards. There's one that I really want, but it's a lot of money. But nonetheless, you know, I'll get there somehow. Ampharos, I don't have any for him yet, but I will pretty soon. Slowking, I love him because of that second movie. Where Lugia, they introduced Lugia in the movies. I really love it. But this is a Master Ball, reverse hollow Slowking. A lot of people overlook these, but I mean, come on, look at that pattern. It's so sick. Wobbuffet, come on. Do I gotta say more? Team Rocket, come on. Come on. Wobbuffet, really? He's one of the coolest Pokemon that Team Rocket has ever obtained, and one of the strongest. Steelix. I mean, come on. Look at that Steelix card. I love Steelix just because it was something different that they showed in Gen 2. And I always strive to get it. I had to use the cheat codes and emulators in games just to get him because honestly, it was really hard to get him. Friends would trade him on the playground as well. And Skarmory. I just think Skarmory is pretty sick, you know. I got this card from my buddy, this reverse hollow. Not in the best condition, but you know what? Look at that. Can you see? Look at that right there. I mean, do I gotta say more? Raikou, I do not have any for him, but I do have an Entei movie promo, the reverse hollow. It's hard to get these in really good conditions. It's a little scratched up, but you know what? I'm happy I was able to find this card. My daughters actually have a lot better Entei cards than I do. Suicune, don't have any, but I do have a common one that I got from my daughter, which I will add to this page. And then this one right here, my Tyranitar. I got this sign from Jarvitar at the Pasadena card show, and it's pretty sick, you know? It gives me Godzilla vibes. The last page is for Lugia. This one's gonna get a special page. I got this from my buddy, but all these are on it. I'm gonna see if I could get some full arts in there. Some, you know, maybe some tops, movie clip cards in there. You know, if you know, you know. All right, and now what I want to move on to is going to be my box and my slabs. All right, guys, so this right here is my case where I keep some of the cards that mean a lot to me. They all have different meanings. You'll see a lot of people who have these just carry slabs, but I carry everything in here. So there's a variety, as you can see. So here, all this stuff right here, up until these cards right here, which I'll take out from my childhood, and I just want to keep them safe and sound. All right, so let's dive into what I have in here. I have this Miltank that I want to get signed by Deep Pocket Monsters. And then this is the Garchomp card I told you I got signed by Garchomp Collectibles at the Front Row Card Show. And this is a card I would like to get graded along with Cerulege and Armarouge. Make it a complete set, you know? I think it's a pretty cool promo card. Not many people like it, but I do. And then I got my slabs. So my slabs are a little bit unique. Each slab has a meaning behind it. This is actually a card that my daughter pulled, and she just wants me to keep it safe, my youngest daughter. This is a promo card of the first legendary Pokemon that my wife caught in Pokemon Black and White. So I think here, yes. So this is where we move on to where I said something special. So number 18 in the National Pokédex is Pidgeot, and my birthday is on October 18th. My wife's birthday is August 9th, and guess what? Blastoise is number 9 in the National Dex, and that's actually her favorite Pokemon. Then goes to my oldest daughter. She's June 29th, and 29th on the National Dex is Nidoran, and I wanted to get a first edition jungle card for her. Then there's my second oldest. She's born on September 17th. And I just thought, man, the Triumphant Pidgeotto is such a cool card, you know. And, you know, Heart Gold Soul Silver is one of the games that she also likes to play on her emulator. And July 2nd is my youngest daughter. I got this Ivysaur for one simple reason, because obviously he's second in the national dex. Her birthday's on the 2nd, but 0623, that's mine and my wife's anniversary date. So thought that was pretty cool. And my son, he was born on July 24th. And that is Arbok. And Dragon Frontiers is one of my favorite sets of all times. If you want to look it up, I mean, every Pokemon is a different typing in that set. So I think that's pretty cool. So like I said, I collect not just PSA, but I collect a variety. My buddy of mine gave me this Tag 9 Nido King for my birthday, so I really appreciate that. Then I also am a fan of CGC. CGC, you know what? I just got a couple Pokemon that I really like. So I got a CGC 10 Pokemon Go Venusaur. And this is a pretty cool card. Evolutions Uno card in CGC 10. I also like to collect fan art. You know, this is necessarily isn't fan art, but the person I bought this from does a lot of fan art cards. But this is actually from the mobile Pokemon game. He just put in one of his slabs. I also have a PSA 9 Celebrations Gyarados, one of my favorite Pokemon. This is the first slab I ever bought. It was a Mimikyu, and I got it for $13 on eBay on Halloween, which is pretty funny. And Greninja, one of my favorite Greninja cards of all time. You know, I actually found this for a couple bucks while I was on recovery from a surgery. So, you know, it's like I said, everything has a meaning to it, and I like to collect what I like, and not just for the money. You know, and then just right here, as you can see, I have a bunch of bulk Dragon Ball cards. As you can see, I have a bunch all over. But yes, this is my whole collection, and let me go show you a couple of stuff I have for you as well. All right, guys, so this is my Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I don't really have much. I'm getting back into it and trying to find my old cards, but these are the ones I have. I got them from the Legendary collection, the 25th anniversary, and it has some of the cards that I had as a kid that I couldn't find anymore. But Obelisk the Torment is one of my favorite, and I'm happy this was the secret rare in there. Look at that foil pattern. So, you know, like I said, I don't have much Yu-Gi-Oh, but I have the Legendary God cards, the Blue Eyes White Dragon, the Dark Magician, the Red Eyes Black Dragon, Thousand Dragon. A variation of the Summon Skull is Skull Archfiend of Lightning, but Summon Skull is one of my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh cards of all time. Gear Fight the Iron Knight, Guardian Trice, Nobleman of Extermination, Mindless Radiant, Metal Dragon, you know, just a bunch of, you know, common cards that you would see from the Kaiba, Yugi, or Pegasus, or even Joey starter decks that came out when I was a kid. I'm just going to give you a quick run through of all the cards that I have here for Yu-Gi-Oh! I was thinking of battling, you know, at local tournaments and all that stuff, but honestly with my job, it's a little difficult. So I think I'm just going to be a collector, and a lot of these cards, as you can see, it's hard to hold with these sleeves, but here's the rest of them. Like I said, you know, I really like the whole TCG game. You know, like a lot of people only stick to one thing, but I like variety. And look at that cute puppy. Look at that. So I just bought a binder to put all these cards in recently, and I think once that binder is fully set with a bunch of cards that I really like, I'll end up showing you guys that as well. But nonetheless, I wanted to show you guys everything I have entirely in my collection. And as you can see, I have my box, my PC binder, my Yu-Gi-Oh cards, my Pokédex binders, my trade binder, along with my DBZ binder. And as you can see, look at my doggy. She's sleeping next to me. Her name's Cupcake. But yeah. All right, guys, that was just a quick rundown of my whole collection between my slabs, my PC, my Pokédex, Trade Binder, Yu-Gi-Oh! Dragon Ball. I just wanted to show you guys that you can collect on a budget. A lot of these, like I said, got from friends, trades, whatnot, kept it from when I was a kid. You could check your yard sales and all that stuff. But yeah, it's something I like to tell my kids and a lot of people: collect what you like, not for the money. You'll enjoy it more. Yes, it's nice making some money on in this hobby. You can make thousands of dollars actually. My daughters have really expensive cards that they pulled, and I got it graded for them with a couple $1,000. But what did I spend? I didn't really spend much on a ATV, maybe $40 on a release date. So if you could hop onto those release dates, or your local card shop has some sweet raffle or deal, try to get in that. But keep the lookout. I'm gonna start showing you little shorts and clips and stuff like that on the journey into completing my binders and collecting on a budget. So I really hope you guys like this video, and till next time, I'll see you later, Brokey fan.